Okay. So we are now live on Facebook and also here in Zoom. Like officially hello to everyone. Thank you for joining this meeting. We're so excited. Well, as you know, well, maybe you don't know, my name is Samantha, and I'm here with my grandma, Katia Sztulmann, my mom, Alejandra, and Katia, also my aunt that is there.
Hello.
So thank you for joining this meeting. Okay, so I want to start this meeting like saying that, as you know, we're from Mexico. Actually, I am 20 years old, and many people ask me why I'm doing this project called The Voice of the Silence. Well, my last name Rodriguez, it doesn't sound really Jewish, right? So, um, well, this started because we went to a trip. We went to a trip to discover about our family ancestors that they were Jewish and from Poland, and we are going to talk about that obviously. But I think that trip like changed it all. For me, it was so touching, so important for me, and I wanted to do something to commemorate, to honor my ancestors, the ones that survived and the ones that are not here with us because what happened, right? And I want to say that, for example, yeah, we have Jewish ancestors, but we don't practice the Jewish religion, but we are so proud of that. As a Christian, I have learned to love Jews because, for example, all the heroes from the Bible, they were Jews. Moses, Abraham, Isaac, even Jesus for us. So it's an honor to have Jewish ancestors. Now we are our voices, the voices of the Sztulman family for the ones that are not here anymore. Um, um, we didn't know this whole story. Even my grandma, she's the daughter of the Polish and Jewish man, that one, Marco Sztulman, she didn't know the whole story. We discovered really interesting things. Well, for in a side, very sad, obviously, stories, and in the other hand, we discovered also amazing stories. So okay, before telling my grandma to talk, I don't know, Isaac, if you want to say something, you're muted.
Yes,
I have a
I
question.
want to introduce a little bit to people. It's an honor for us in Diario Judío to have somebody that, first of all, it's not Jewish. Second, it's a young people, because for many people, they think that what happened in Holocaust, it's like history. It's long time ago, and we still have survivors here and everything. And it's important for young people not to let this get forgotten. And that's what Samantha is doing. It's bringing alive these stories, bringing us to know what really happened in that time. And I appreciate that Samantha is now with her family, and we have here people from all around the world. We have people from Israel, from Mexico, from United States, from Poland. I have a special message from the Embassy of Poland telling you they wanted to be here with you, but they will be hearing it later. And they are impressed of what you and your family are doing. It's incredible to have here family that of yours that you never met and you are close to them, close family, and it's interesting to be now present. So without any more, I would like to know with you, Samantha, what wake you up to start doing this? Because many people go to Poland, many people have family, but it doesn't start with them to start to share their family story and to embrace these voices of silence. So, what's happened with you and your family to start doing this?
Yes, well, as I said, when we went to this trip, we're going to talk about this. Something like woke up in me, you know. I think it's so important to know about your roots. That's a thing that it's so I am passionate about, you know, and it's so important because when you discover your roots, you can understand where you come from and what's happening with you today. So I think it's so important to have an identity, and also doing this project and telling the story of our family, it's a way to prevent for example, the part of the Holocaust that we're talking to never happen again and to honor them, you know? So now I want to say hello, yeah, to all Sztulman family that it's tuned in right now from, I don't know if, well, from Israel, from United States, from Mexico. Hello to all the Sztulman family, obviously to all our friends, but hello, we are here with a lot of Sztulman relatives. So now I want my grandma to tell us what she knew before about her dad, because she didn't knew a lot of things.
Hello, hello everybody. Good afternoon to America and good evening in Europe and Asia. And I'm very glad that we are together and you join us to share the story of my family. I apologize for my poor English. I have to help with a writing paper. Well, first of all, I want to express my gratitude to my beloved granddaughter Samantha for her dedication to this cause. Samantha and her at her young age has dedicated her energy to raise knowledge and awarenesses to young generation about the Holocaust, so that we never again have the discrimination of races, religion, poverty, illnesses, etc. The only thing I knew when I was growing up was that my dad, Marco Sztulman, that is the name we name in Mexico, Marco, was born in a town called Myasizhet in Ukraine. It was a Russian occupation in that time, because the only papers my mom had of him were a Mexican passport in which they say that he was Russian. He came to Mexico and married my mom in 1929, a wealthy Catholic and pretty young girl named Soledad Moreno from Valle de Santiago in Guanajuato, Mexico.
Yeah, you can see the family there in the photo.
Okay. When we started searching more about our ancestry, I realized that maybe one of the reasons my father married her, apart of being in love of her, was because he wanted to disengage himself of discrimination or labeling, and he wanted to begin a new life. We were 6 siblings, and we were raised in a Catholic environment in where we never talk about Jews or the Holocaust, even though we had Jewish family here in Mexico, cousins. Okay. My mom wrongly thought that the apathy and uprooting of my father toward his race was because he had a bad experience with Jews. However, now I know she was so wrong and so confused. And the way we grew up without having any curiosity of knowing about my grandparents and their family, and we didn't even know that most of them were killed in Holocaust, sorry. In 1960, I married and I had 4 children. Then I didn't have any time, and really I didn't care about looking for my roots. Now I have understood the silence of my father and his desires to isolate us from that anti-Semitism that led to those horrors like the death of his parents, siblings, and relatives. He spoke English, German, Russian, Spanish, and I am not very sure about Polish because it was prohibited in Poland in that time.
Yes, thank you. I think it's so interesting to know that as the daughter, she didn't know a lot, you know, of what happened. Obviously, her dad didn't want to talk about what happened because it was terrible. But yes, now we have searched and are going to talk about that. So now I want my aunt Katia to tell us about. No, sorry, my mom Alejandra. About what they knew as the children, you know, what they know, why they knew about their grandfather.
Okay, well, hello to everybody again who is joining us in this meeting. Well, actually, as siblings, my brothers and I, we did not know anything much about the Holocaust. We knew we had Jewish family, and we knew we had an aunt that came from the camp, but only from one camp, and we didn't really uh, understand anything about it. It was more like it was maybe hidden from us, but since it wasn't there and the information, we just didn't care or we just didn't know about it. So we didn't grasp the whole idea of the Holocaust because it was we ignored it.
Yes, obviously as children they knew less than my grandma, so yes, that's why we started searching about this. So now I want my aunt Katia to tell us about the reasons for we started this searching, please.
Yes, so I was always very curious about this side of the family, but it was difficult to get information. So whenever I will go to Mexico, because I live in the US, um, I thought to call my Aunt Sylvia, thinking that I could get some answers, and I got a little bit of information. She was always super, very kind. So I was really determined to get a family tree started, and that's been many years since that curiosity started on me. So at that point, I knew what everybody knew, and my siblings knew. We had my grandfather that had two brothers actually in Mexico. So, and one of the brothers had a family and one was my tia Silvia. So they were in Mexico. And also we knew about our aunt, right aunt Hela, who was in the concentration camp. And basically we did not know very much about her kids. And I know we have Elena here today and I'm so excited to finally meet her and her grandkids. So until recently, it's been really wonderful to discover all this. So in the recent years, we started doing other things, including looking at tools like Ancestry.com, Heritage.com, 23andMe, and also getting more information from the family. And my sister and Sammy and my mother had tried a lot of different options on Mexico, trying to call the embassies. And we finally were able to narrow down information that was critical to locate the place where my grandfather was born in Poland and where he went to school. So that led us to take our first trip in 2016. We were very determined to figure out where my grandfather was born. And that was a place called Mietritz that we're going to talk about this a little bit more in a bit. But we were determined to get more information about the mysteries of our ancestors. So following the tips that we had, we basically met in Poland, in Warsaw, and we started searching more information about our family. So one of the first places that we went was the genealogy department in the Polish Museum in Warsaw, and as well as the Jewish Historical Institute, who was recommended by our new friend Michael, who is a cousin of my good friends Joe and Susan Grunberg here in Dayton, Ohio. So with lots of jumping around from place to place, we were finally able to get help from Noam Silverberg at the Jewish Historical Institute, who was able to translate a lot of the documents that we got that were in Russian. So he knows Russian, he was able to translate these documents, and we found out some really key information that we did not know. First of all, we didn't know that there were 9 siblings altogether. So there was Abraham, who we know as Max, Gitla, Moscow, who is my grandfather, Meyer, David, Shammai, Shomo, and Elena, of course. And we also found out about my great-grandfather. His name was Jakub, and he married Bela Lampert, that she was from Mietzeritz in 1894. We also discovered that the name of my grandfather, that we call him in Mexico Marco, was Moshko Isaac. And Sztulman was also spelled differently, as we usually spell our name, A-C-H-T. It was with S-C-T. We also discovered his real birthday. One of the most exciting discoveries was that we had family in Israel, and this was a key discovery through Noam. He tried to connect us. We were unable. We discovered that there was Moscow's aunt, Sarah, that had moved future Israel land before the war, and Sarah had Siona and Rina, who are daughters of Sarah. We're going to talk about later. However, we were not able to, and we're going to discuss a little bit more about how we connected later in the presentation.
Okay, thank you, Aunt. Yes.
Samantha,
So,
let me just give an introduction and a welcome to Silvia Poti and to the others and to the survivors we have here. Silvia Poti is the writer of a book. I have it in here. She's the granddaughter of a general in Lithuania, and she wrote about his job in killing you. So it's very interesting to have her here. We made an interview of her last week, and you can see it also in the Facebook of Samantha and in Diario Judío. And we have 2, I think so, survivors here of the Holocaust that we are pleased to have them around, and like every week, no? I think Eva and Johnny or somebody else. Samantha?
yeah, we have Eva, Johnny, Ruth Mermelstein, also a Holocaust survivor, Eva Nathanson too, Eva Perlman and Eva Nathanson. I'm so happy to have you here again. I have interviewed these Holocaust survivors, and they are so nice. I love to have you here. Thank you so much. But yeah, we will continue with this presentation. So yes, as my aunt said, we went to Poland to search more about our ancestors and all this. So it was so interesting that we went to this reunion called Lubliner Reunion, because our family was from a region in Poland called Lublin. Dalia Sztulmann, that it's also, well, we don't know the link yet with her to our family, but also she's a Sztulman, so she's family. She invited us to this reunion. That is a worldwide meeting of people that has ancestors in Lublin, in Poland. So in this reunion, we have like tours to know the history of Lublin, or the little towns that are from our ancestors. This organization is held by Brahma Grodska, that it's an organization there in Lublin, that I want to remark their labor, because they're an organization that keeps alive the memory of Jews in Lublin, in Poland, even if they are not Jews. So this is a great labor what they are doing. And nowadays, well, they are doing, for example, webinars, but this event that they have in some certain years is wonderful. And there we discovered a lot of stuff, a lot of information about our family. We went to the towns where from our ancestors were from. So it was amazing. We thanks to the people that we knew there. Also, we discovered a lot of interesting stuff. Thanks to Leora, ambassador of Brahma Grodzka in USA. I think she's here with us. Also Tadeusz, that he was our genealogist to discover more about our family. Agatha, the owner of Rutka, these tours that are focused on your roots. Imagine you can like make a tour in the towns that your family was from. Monica from Brahma Grodzka too, and obviously Slavek that is here with us, that he was our amazing tour guide, researcher, and also, yeah, translator, and he became part of our family, as you can see in that picture. We went with him to many parts of Poland, so thank you. I want to remark also that in this event, we had our first Shabbat ceremony. As we said, we are not Jews. Obviously, we have our ancestors and the race, and we are proud of it. But we have never been in a Shabbat, and in this event, they gave us the opportunity to be in one Shabbat ceremony. As you can see, it was in the old yeshiva of Lublin. A yeshiva was well, it's a school for Jews, you know. So, and nowadays it's a hotel, but it has a synagogue upstairs, and it was amazing. You know, we had this presentation, this concert, the Jewish songs, all this food, the Shabbat celebration. It was amazing for us. And curious fact about this synagogue is, or yeshiva, is that unfortunately, when the Nazis invaded Poland, obviously they destroyed the inside of it, and they used it as a Gestapo office. Thank God nowadays it's in hands of Jews, and even if it's an hotel, it has its synagogue upstairs. Even if in Lublin we don't have like, we just have fewer non-Jews nowadays, but the memory is still there. So yes. Now I want my mom to tell us about the first town we visited, that it was my great grandfather was from that town.
Okay, so my grandfather Moshko, he is from a town called Meseritz for us Mexicans, but I want Sam to say it in Polish because she's been studying Polish.
Oh my God. Miądzydziec Polacki.
Okay, that, okay. Well, this town, Jews began to settle there since 1520. And Meseritz was known as America of Poland. It was very famous, very prosperous. They had a lot of development of trade. They had a lot of cinemas. They had a lot of factories on brushes and brooms. They had a lot of butcheries. They had political parties. They had schools, yeshivas. They had synagogues.
Synagogue there.
You can see there the synagogue. The synagogue, destroyed. It was destroyed. It had more than like 3,000 members. There was a lot of hotels, a lot of tourism. They had a lot of famous people wanted to come over here. It was really a big attraction. Of course, this was before the war. Then after, of course, it was destroyed. Right now, it's a small town. There isn't much activity. Actually, we met a family that they said to go to the movies, they had to travel like about an hour to go to watch a movie. And I go, oh my God, really? So yes, and everybody uses a bicycle. I mean, there's cars and everything, but since it's a small, town, they like to keep it that way, and they close everything like at 5 o'clock. Yeah, so for us, it's a really beautiful experience. But anyway, I wanted to show you also. Oh, wait, yeah, 80% of there were 80% Jews before the war. Okay, so this is so you can have an idea of what happened. And then I really love this memorial they have there. It's called The Prayer. It's a woman. And what it means, it's the smooth part, it's like the unity. The rough part, it was like the destruction it was made. And the red, it's the red granite that it symbolizes the blood shed. And they have a plaque right there that I really loved. I loved it because they engraved there a verse from the Bible, which it says, in Genesis 4:10, the voice of your brother's blood is crying out to me from the ground. So it really touched me because it really represents what happened there from 1939 to 1944.
Yes, it was amazing to be there in this town of our ancestors, as you can see there. And those are photos from, for example, the great grandmother and some others from the family that were there. Those photos are in Miałżewiec, Polacki before 1930s. So yeah, it's like having a treasure, these photos, you know, for us. But you can see there the family, the lady with the fountain. That was Moshko's mother, my great grandmother, Bela. So yeah, it's amazing. And yeah, we also went to reconstruct the story, you know, and that the first photo is Elena, Moshko's sister, the one that survived the Holocaust, and the other one is Max. So my grandma was reconstructing the story, and we took those beautiful photos at the same place, the same park in Miałżewiec, to have these photos.
Actually, that photo, we took it with us with our trip, and the family that helped us look around, we didn't know where it was. They go, yeah, it's right here, is this palace. So it was really nice because we took the picture so they would show us where it was actually.
Yes, yeah, I'm talking about our experience there in Miałżewiec. We went twice in 2016 and 17, but yeah, for us it was a beautiful town, very picturesque. We went to the Jewish cemetery, that it's the only Jewish landmark that is still there, right? So it was, well, at the time we went, it was run down. I know that nowadays it was like renewed, and I'm so happy for that. But yeah, we didn't find any grave from our family gravestone. But we were you know, walking all around the town, this amazing town, and trying to get some documents at the city hall, but they didn't have records of those years, you know, of people that was living there. So we went to Lublin. But yeah, I want to remark the help that we had there from, first of all, the Brodavka family, where I think they couldn't be here today, but I hope they will watch this later. The Brodavka family, they helped us to translate, because in that town anyone speaks English, well, almost anyone. So yeah, they took us to see around the place. They took us to our hotel with their car. They were so nice to us, so we are so grateful with them. Also with Bartek, I think he's here. I met him in the Lubliners reunion. He was recording, and he told me that he was from Miałżewiec. He's a good friend nowadays, and he was amazing when we went to Miałżewiec. He printed some old photos of the town to show us the places. So yeah, thank you for that. It's amazing to have you here. Also the Zenota family and Christoph, that was from the city hall, that helped us to research more, you know, and to know about the history of Miałżewiec, that it's a beautiful town. Okay, the last thing about this town is that we discovered the address, the real address of my great grandfather. So we discovered 3 addresses, as you can see there. We went to the exact point of where we lived. And nowadays it's a bank, as you can see there, a gas station, and an empty lot. But the Sztulman family used to live there in the 1910 to 1920s, for example. So yes, it was a beautiful experience to go to Miałżewiec Polacki. Now I want, Grandma, what did you think when you were in Miałżewiec?
I was really so excited about be there and knowing that my father was growing up there and all the family, and really and then I realized why my father loves so the country, because that place is really a country town. And I saw that the people is so nice. They're very kind people, and as my grand daughter says, it's a very picturesque town.
Yeah, so okay. So yeah, after that, can you tell us your dad, because they were living our Sztulman family in 1910 to 1920s, but what happened with your dad?
Well, after being there, two of the two of them, my father and another brother, Harry. What was the name? Abraham. Yes, Abraham went to study his career in Germany, the engineer career. This was in 1919. And well, and then Moscow, that was the name there here in Mexico, was Marco, moved to Mexico in 1924 to work in a German company. Years after, he opened his own business called Maquinaria e Ingeniería. That was he was a pioneer in importing heavy machinery. Two brothers came later. First Max and opened a famous butchery in Torreon, Coahuila in Mexico. And Harry, Abraham, this is the name that we named here, Harry, in 1937, and become my father's business partner.
Yeah. Yes, we have here in the audience the daughter of Harry. So yes, hello to Sylvia. This is a Jewish family here in Mexico, right?
Mm-hmm. It's my dear cousins, my dear cousin. We almost grew up together.
Yes. So, okay, now I want my aunt Katia to tell us about Lubartu, the first town of Sztulman family that we know.
So in that same second trip, we decided to visit Lubartu, and as Sammy said, this was where Moscow, or my grandfather's dad, was actually born. And this is a small, very picturesque town, as you can see in the picture here. Until World War II, the town had a really large Jewish community. However, nearly the entire community was destroyed during the Holocaust, and today only the Jewish cemetery actually remains. The key from this visit was that we established that the origin of the Sztulman family is from this area. Well, first of all, Lubartu at that time, even though it was in Poland, as you can see also in the picture, it was a Russian occupation. So the occupation was from 1795 to 1918. So that was the period of time that our ancestors were there, and hence the influence of the Russian language and the names. So Moshko's grandparents, actually, Moshek, Jersh, Sztulman, and Rushla Hudesa were actually from Lubartu, and that was in the 1800s. They had 5 sons, and one of them was Joseph, who was Mosco's father, or my great-grandfather. So we're tracing our roots and trying to put all the puzzles together. But the key here is that we have pinpointed Lubartu as the origin of the Sztulman family. I don't know if you want to add anything else, Sammy.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I had some problems with here, the PowerPoint, but yeah. Yeah, so we went to Lubartu to, can you mute yourself? I think it's, well, okay. When we went to Lubartu well, we knew that our family was from there. We didn't have, for example, the address or something, but it was such an amazing experience. We went with the Lubliner Reunion. We had this tour to Lubartu. We had a very warming greeting ceremony with the mayor, as you can see there, the mayor at that time of Lubartu. he received all this group that we went to see the town because we knew we have ancestors there. And they gave us also souvenirs, a really nice ceremony. Also, we had this ceremony and Jewish and Polish songs by a high school, as you can see in that picture. It was amazing to see all those young girls and boys playing Jewish music and Polish music to us and teaching us how to sing it, because yeah, it's so difficult, the Polish, you know, and also Hebrew, but it was amazing. So we had this a really solemn ceremony at the Jewish cemetery. As you can see there, also the young guys, they were playing Jewish songs. We made a prayer for all our ancestors. They are not here anymore, but we mentioned their names. I will also just want to remark that from that trip, I have these two good friends, Sylvia and Peter. That, well, Sylvia is here from Poland, so hello. And also, yes, and also Peter. So, okay. Now we will talk about the second town of the Sztulman family. The third town, sorry, yes, where they moved after all this. So Tia Katia, can you tell us about Grudziądz, please?
Yes. So as Sami mentioned, we went to a third town, and the reason why we went to this third town is after the family that was established in Miedzic, they decided to move to Grudziądz, and that was in the mid-1920s. This town specifically was a very important cultural and industrial center, and it had a river, so it was very important for merchants. So we believe that they moved there to be more successful in their business. So this town was also one of the key towns that was invaded by the Nazis in 1939, and about 50% of this town was destroyed. What we have gotten already some information before we went there about that they have actually been there and had some documents, but we ended up going to the library and to confirm some of the key information and addresses of places where they have possibly lived. And of course, Slavic here was key to help us with the translations and getting the documents. You can see the beautiful all documents that we were able to get copies of. And this was very important because we were able to get information on locations and addresses where they actually either lived or they had business. We found out that the Sztulman family had a leather store. So they were leather merchants. And we actually recently found this, well, the Sztulman, the leather shop here, the Sztulman and Sons, that they were also renting a room of their house. And another key information we got by going to Grudziądz was that our great-grandfather, Jacob Joseph, was actually the president of a society for assisting sick Jews. And he was also the president of the Jewish community in Grudziądz. So they were pretty well seated in the Jewish community. So we visited several addresses, and we finally ended up in Francesca Street that you can see here. We are also aided by Michael, who actually met us from, he drove all the way down from Gdańsk to meet us here and help us to find people to have information about our family. And we were able to get into this building, which is where we know that our family actually lived. And through the help of Micah and Slavis as well, we were able to visit with this very nice lady that received us, offered us tea and cookies. and told us about a Jewish family that actually lived in the first floor of that building that had a leather store, and that they made some Jewish rituals. And that was about the 1920s. So that's some of the information that was key in Grudziądz. So I don't know if you want to add anything else, Sammy?
Yes, well, it was, yeah, an amazing experience to go into the same building our family was living, right? So I want to ask you, Grandma, what was your first impression of being there in the address?
First of all, I really didn't believe that I was there where the family lived, and I was impressed. I was happy and really very sad too, because I knew that perhaps in that place, near that place, they could be killed. Then, but was really a nice place, and well, a very touch, touching experience.
Yes, and two curious facts that we found out recently about this town, about Grudziądz and our family, is that they used to go on vacation from Grudziądz to a beach called Sopot, that is near Gdansk. So yeah, it was like a curious fact we discovered. And also I was searching on internet, and I got these old newspapers and magazines. So I saw this new in a newspaper about my grandmother Bela, that it said she was assaulted. Someone robbed her purse. So well, it was just a fun fact. Well, not fun. It was terrible that she was robbed, you know. But yeah, an interesting fact we found out. Now I want my mom to tell us about Grupa.
Okay, we were searching to see where our family, well, what was the last stop of our family? Well, Grudziądz was the last place they lived, so we wanted to find out where were they killed. A hard fact to know. So getting some information from the Turun office, which is a city hall of the area. They told us there's a village, a small town called Grupa. It's hard to find information on that. There isn't much information, but it's very close to where they lived. Okay, so before the war, there were 600 people in the Jewish community. And when the Nazis occupied Warsaw and all the Poland and Grudziądz, all the near regions in 1939, they ordered the Jews to come to the police. So most of them left to other, of course, towns, but 100 of them did went to go to the calling of the police. Okay, so that's what we know, that probably they did go to this calling, and they took them to this place. Okay, and we try to find, we aren't very sure about this, but we know that they were very popular in between the Jewish community. So the Nazis, when they usually had somebody important, they would take their files and they would disappear them. So well, let me tell you about this place. This place, oh, it's a forest, as you can see. It looks nice and beautiful because it's nature, but when you get there, you have a feeling, oh, I don't know, it's indescribable. It's just emptiness, loneliness. You can only hear the sound of the wind. And when we went there, there wasn't anybody. But there was a monument, because there were many people that were killed there. There were politicians, there were children, religious people. There were also many other, there were doctors, intellectuals, many other people that were killed there. So anyone that would go against their Nazi regime. So they had ditches where they will shoot them and just leave them there, you know. So it was really impressive. And I want to tell you a story that's a very sad story, horrific story, that they would take the children in buses, you know, like those school buses, you know, they will take them out to the woods saying, oh, we're going to go on a trip to the woods, you know, so the kids will be very excited. So when they get there, they would open the doors and they go, you know, start running, you know, start running. This is like a game for them, you know, and the soldiers would start killing them like they were hunting animals. So this was really sad. I mean, I could not believe there would be so horrible people doing this to children. So this is one of the stories that we knew about this place. So you can know the dimension of this place, how it felt to be there. And Sam's going to tell us a little bit more about this place.
Yes, I think it's also like terrible that you can't find easy information in internet, for example, about this place. I don't know why. That's also weird, you know. That's where we are here to tell the things that they're not known or don't have information. But I want just to read a plaque that it's in Grupa, that I took a photo of it. So it says, the torment place of about 10,000 Polish heroes and martyr people. In the former gravel pit of Grupa Mniszek, in the time frame of November 1939 until January 1945, the Hitler invader horde murdered beastly about 10,000 men, women, and children, descendants from the districts of Świecia, Chełmno, Grudziądz, Bydgoszcz, and Starogard. Well, there are towns nearby. So we can see there that tons of people were killed there, and we are almost sure that our family was killed there. So yeah, it's that's the dark side of the history, but we wanted to know the truth, because as the quote says, who doesn't know the truth is condemned to repeat it. So we want to know everything about it. This place was so horrible. They also had this tree that they used to hang people there to horrify the other prisoners. So yeah, it was a hard experience, but it was necessary for us. And I want just to say that if you see that we have photos in these horrible places, it's because we wanted to have all documented that we went there, you know, to discover all this, not because we wanted to have a photo there, you know. It's not like that. So yeah, talking about the hard part of the story, we also went in Lublin to the Majdanek concentration camp. Majdanek was one of the largest concentration camps, and also is the one of the is like intact. Preserved. Yeah, preserved. It wasn't destroyed. They didn't have time to destroy it. So all the things that are there, almost all the things are original. So yeah, it was so so touching, so horrible experience, but we have to be there because also our my great grandfather's sister Elena, that we're going to talk about that. Oh, actually, her granddaughter is going to talk about her. She was there for a while in Majdanek. So we went there. You can see all the barracks, that monument that represented the fear that you feel when you see it. Also the crematorium, there's a memorial, the green roof. It's a memorial with tons of ashes. So yeah, it was a really hard experience. You can feel in the air the death. You can smell. I don't know. It's terrible. I had to go out from one of the barracks and sit on the grass to breathe, you know, some fresh air, because it was so difficult but so necessary for us to be aware of what happened, you know. We also went to Travniki labor camp. It was a little labor camp in the Lublin district, but it was also horrible because it wasn't just labor camp. Of course, our tia around Helena, she was there, but she was sewing uniforms and all this because it was a factory, but nowadays it's destroyed. We just can see the factory. Well, yeah, part of the factory. Yes, thanks to wonderful teacher and tour guide Agnieszka, we went there. Obviously sad too to go to know all this, but yes, as I keep repeating, it was necessary for us. We also went to Auschwitz, to Auschwitz 1 and Auschwitz-Birkenau. Yes, it's a really hard experience to grasp. It's a lot of information, a lot of history. You can see there the barracks, the bombed gas chambers, the train wagon, all these that it was terrible things happen here, as we all know. And for example, our special guest Johnny was here in this camp. Johnny was here, I think also Ruth. So yeah, we could feel, obviously we can't understand the pain that you've been through, the suffering. But as I always say, it's not the same to study in the school about Holocaust, to watch movies, to read books. It's not the same as being there in the place, and not for being morbid or, you know, just for understanding what happened. And well, us, because we had these ancestors that suffered there. Also, Elena Sztulman also was there in Auschwitz. Okay, so yeah, I just want to show this map that you can see all the concentration camps we went: Majdanek, Travniki, Auschwitz-Birkenau. In those 3 ones, well, we are going to talk about that, but Helena Sztulman was there or around. So yes, but well, after talking about this horrible part of the story, that well, I just want my grandma to tell us what was your, I don't know, your feeling when you went to all these concentration camps.
I was really impressed, and I couldn't believe that there were a place like that, and that all my family were killed there and suffer all that they suffer there. And all happened because of a mentally ill and diabolic man. I can't believe that. I can't believe that all the world didn't do anything. That's incredible. And it really was very impressed for me.
Yes, it was so hard, but as I said, necessary for us. So now we are going to talk about the nice side of the things we have discovered. That it's a pleasure to us to talk about this. We have talked about the horrible stuff, but now it comes the great stuff. So I want my aunt Katia to tell about this, please. You're muted.
I thought I had unmuted. Yes, this was the highlight of our research. Like I mentioned earlier, when we visited Warsaw, specifically the Jewish Historical Institute, with the help of Noam, we were able to find out that we had family in Israel, but we were not able to connect. So my sister contacted Yad Vashem in Mexico. With the help of Maggie, they were able to contact our family. So we knew that my grandfather's cousin had moved to that area before the war, and they were the siblings, the kids of Sarah, eventually established there, specifically the family, the Siona Resnick, who is was my grandfather's cousin, and had Shimona, Rina, and Rivka that you actually can see here, Rina and Rivka in this picture. So between all the information that we had, we were able to contact them. My sister actually talked with them on the phone with my mother several times, and they arranged a trip in 2018 so that we can meet them when we went to Israel. And that was really a fantastic reunion. We met them in their town of Ginegar. It's a kibbutz, actually. And they had arranged a wonderful meal for us. And we sat together, we told stories. we shared what we knew. They shared what they knew, and it was really a fantastic time just to reconnect. And you can see the happiness in my mother's face with her cousin, with her second cousin. We were also joined by our second cousin too, Elena, who is also a granddaughter of our aunt Hela, or Elena, that was in the concentration camp. She was not able to join us today, but she recently moved to, yeah, right there. She recently moved to Israel and actually has her family there. So we met her for the first time too, and we were really just super excited to reconnect with all of them. So I don't know if I missed anything, Sammy.
Okay, I also would want if we can introduce the families, because we are the only ones who met them. So right now is Rena is here. So we want, if this is possible, to say hello, Rena. There you are.
Hi, Rena. She's the one that has the Hebrew name. If you can search it in the
in the connection. Hi,
Yeah.
Rena.
Hello.
Hi. Well, yeah. And we want also for the family Sztulmann to raise your hand, so you say hello, so she will know who you are. You are family of Rena. So if you can raise your hand and say hello to Rena, please, so she would know you are the family. Okay.
Yeah, Sztulmann family,
Sztulmann
please.
family, raise your hand so Rena can see all her family. Okay. See, Rena, how much family you have
Here in Mexico.
Okay. In Mexico, in the USA. Huh? Okay, so Mom, you want to say something to her?
Thank you, Rena, for being here. And I am so glad to see you again. Well, was it a very exciting experience? We recognized each other immediately as Sztulmann family. And well, they are so loving, and we feel the kindness and the warm in all the family, and special with Rishka, Rivka, that is the other cousin, that was so lovely. She didn't want to that I go.
She didn't want.
I leave here them. Thank you very much for that time, at that moment, Rena and all the family. Kisses for all of you.
Yeah, so it's you can say maybe we're telling a lot of details of stuff, but as you're seeing right now, you can see all the connection we have made because of this research between family, amazing people that have helped us to research. So it's so important for me to remark that. So after introducing Rina, my mom is going to tell us about the survivors we had in Sztulmann family, well, as far as we know.
Okay, so when we went to Israel, we got a little bit more information about the survivors that are in our family until now. So we shared about the one in our side, which is Elena, which Elena, the granddaughter, is going to talk about her. But there's other two ones that we found out. We have a very small story about them, but as you can see, the woman, Hanele, well, she survived Auschwitz with, she experienced all the Dr. Mengeles experiments. As you know, this man was terrible. He did many experiments with women and with twins, with children. And it's just amazing how a miracle that she survived all these horrors. So she's one of the survivors. And also Josele, he was also he also a survivor. He at 18 years old, he was also born in the Lublin area in Poland, and he was a survivor. He joined the Russian army, in the 1940s. How he survived, okay? And then later he went back to Poland. Didn't find any family at all, so he went to Israel and rebuilt his life, and this is where he lived. And then is Elena, which we're going to talk about her. Just a couple of details that we found out, and we're going to have her granddaughter talk about her. She was born also in Mesrich-Polatsky in 1918, when now is Poland, started to be Poland, and then she moved to Grudziądz, Grudziądz, as you see. We talked about that in the 1920s, the mid 1920s, and then she moved to Warsaw, where she started working for her sister's husband at a clothing store. And that was really an amazing fact that she left exactly the same day when the Nazis started invading Poland, September 1st, 1939. So if she would have waited one more day, she would have been killed. So she went to Warsaw, and this is where the story begins, where Sam is gonna say.
Well, as my mom said, obviously Elena, her granddaughter, she's going to tell us about her grandmother, but we are going to just say like a summary of what happened to her, because we didn't know, even Sylvia, even Elena, they didn't know these facts that we have discovered in our research, in archives, in Yad Vashem, in all these organizations that have helped us. So yes, Elena moved to Warsaw. She was in the Warsaw ghetto for 3 years, from 1940 to 1943. Then she was deported to Travniki labor camp, as we showed to you here in the document. You can see all the camps that she was in. It says Lublin, that it was Travniki, Majdanek, Auschwitz, and Bergen-Belsen. But yes, in Lublin and Majdanek, in Travniki and Majdanek, she was 1 year, from the 1943 to 44. But the one thing I want to remark here is something that we have discovered, I don't know, 2 months ago, thanks to a researcher on Facebook that he works in Majdanek Memorial. Hello to Jacob. That the only way Elena survived, it was a miracle. It was a miracle that she survived Majdanek and Travniki in the years that she was there. Because in 1943, there was this, the largest execution in the history of German concentration camps. It was called Erntefest, the Harvest Festival. Can you imagine that? This was ordered by Himmler in 1943 to kill all the prisoners in Majdanek, Travniki, and Poniatowa. So only 600 Jews out of 42,000 Jews, they were killed in that few days in November 3 and 4, 1943. It was terrible to discover that, but the only way she survived is that she was one of the 600 that survived. Only 600 survived, and that was because women were employed to segregate victims' property. We are sure that Elena was one of those women that they were selected to do that job. Because yes, also the official history says that in mid-April 1944, those 600 that survived, they were taken to Auschwitz, and almost all of them, they were gassed in the gas chamber. So that's another miracle that we don't know, right? We don't know how she survived, but it was such a miracle, and I wanted to remark that. So yes, before letting Elena talk about more about this, my Aunt Katia is going to just say how she was liberated, what we discovered about it.
Well, as Sami said, our great aunt Elena was in Auschwitz from 44 to 45. And in 45, she was transferred to Bergen-Belsen in Germany, and was liberated by the British in April of 1945. She stayed in what is called the DP Larger Honen camp for about 2 years. The English would not let them leave until she finally was able to get a permit in France to travel to Mexico to reunite with her brothers. That was in 1947. And just recently, Sammy and Alex were able to find some information on how she actually made it to Mexico. She traveled with by boat, and it was called the USO Di Mare, and he actually went to Venezuela. And from Venezuela, she was able to take a plane to Mexico. So that was also not a direct. So I don't know if Sammy knows or Alex why exactly they had to take a boat and then a plane.
Yes, we think it was because there weren't a lot of countries in America that were accepting, yes, people coming from Europe from the Second World War. So they had to go first to Venezuela. We have the paper; it's like official, and then they had to take a plane to Mexico. So yes, okay. I just want to give the word for a couple minutes to my grandma and then to Elena. So. What did you know about your aunt Elena?
Well, I knew that when my dad went to France to get his only sibling, well, his sister, he had survived the Holocaust because that was in 1947. He brought her at home. However, at that time, I was an innocent little ignoring his tragedy. All of this went unnoticed to us since we knew nothing about the Holocaust. Then I thought that, and in memory of my aunt, when my father didn't know
She survived.
She survived. She named my youngest sister Elena. Elenka. That is it. Elenka. Elenita is in Polish. Is what it means.
Yes. So, okay, now we have the honor to have Elena here. Elena is granddaughter of Elena, the survivor of her family, Elena Sztulman. So it's a pleasure to have you here, Elena, that for everyone to know, we haven't even met her in person, you know, personally. So it's an honor to have you here. So please tell us what you have to say about your grandmother.
Thank you very much for inviting me today. I wrote something that my aunt translate me, so I will read you because the English is not my strange point. Okay. Today, you listen me? Yes? Okay.
Yes.
Today, I am here to talk about my grandmother, Elena. Her nicknames in Poland were Hela or Elenka, a diminutive perhaps because she was the youngest of 9 children. She was the only survivor of the Holocaust from her family that had remained in Poland. Her 3 brothers moved to Mexico in the 1930s for work. As a result, they escaped the war and the Holocaust. I know little of my grandmother's childhood, except that her parents put her in a Catholic school taught by nuns, even though she was from an Orthodox Jewish family. One of her hobbies since childhood was to sew her own clothes. I heard that her mother used to scold her for sewing on Shabbat. I can also imagine she was a girl who learned to make her way from a young age. Being the youngest in her family, she was endowed with a special strength and courage that allowed her survival. One story I heard from my family. At the end of the war, she was in a Red Cross hospital, basically dying. The Nazi wards had poisoned the food in the kitchen dispensary before abandoning the concentration camp, when fleeing from Allied forces coming in to liberate the prisoners. She was sent to this one after surviving various camps. When they awoke in the morning, all the wards had disappeared. By instinct, everyone went to the food dispensary and started eating everything inside. She used to tell my Uncle Jacques that she decided only to eat a little because it had been so long since she had eaten. That smart decision probably saved her life, where many perished. But she still got deadly ill from the food poisoning. In the hospital for survivors, she overheard one of the nurses say, "Poor girl, after all she has gone through and survived, and now she's going to die." It made her very angry to hear they thought she was going to die, which gave her the determination and will to survive, which she had lost. I asked my mother, Lillian, to share with me stories to tell today. Her response was overwhelming. She suffered very much. She had a number tattooed on her arm. I know she was in Auschwitz and in Bergen-Belsen. She told me very few stories from the Holocaust, but to be honest, I don't want to tell them. It hurt me a lot to see how she cried. I think I would rather talk about the great love she had for me and my brother. We were her life. After being surrounded by so much death and loss, to have children and love them was the great happiness and satisfaction she had in life. She dedicated the rest of her life to giving love. She was the most generous and sensitive woman and human that I have known in my life. Like a good Yiddish mame. Even my mom says she was not very Yiddish. She used to talk Polish in her house. She prepared abundant meals, which she would serve until people had to ask, "Please don't serve me more." She loved animals. She gained the trust of her friends, who she would tell about her problems in adolescence because she was open-minded and loving. To me, she would buy very sexy swimming suits. She wanted me to enjoy what she had not been able to enjoy while growing up. My mother told me that one time when she came from school very angry, saying she could no longer bear learning about the horrors of the Holocaust and that she hated the Germans, my grandmother scolded her vigorously. She told her on one occasion she was cleaning the office of a drunk Nazi officer and could see his suffering when he threw a bottle of alcohol at the portrait of Hitler that was hanging on the wall. While shooting, he wouldn't bear to hear the woman singing in Yiddish, even in the circumstance they were experiencing. My grandmother Elena was a loving, simple, and cultured woman. She loved to sew and was very creative. At first, it was difficult for her to integrate to Mexican society. She would say how she detested superficial people who lived in appearances. However, her great facility with languages helped her to speak very good Spanish. She even helped my mother to do her grammar homework because she said in Mexico they did not teach the children well in schools. Grandmother Elena married to my grandfather Gustavo, also a survivor. They had 2 children, Lillian, my mother, and Jacques, my uncle. Today, she would have had 4 grandchildren and 8 great-grandchildren spread between Mexico, the United States, and Israel. She died of cancer at 57 years of age, something that deeply affected her children and loved ones. One of the last memories my mother has with her mother is she was fascinated when she saw Remedios Varo's work in the Museum of Modern Art. Remedios Varo was a Mexican surrealist painter who revealed her internal world as subjective and personal as dreams. My grandmother told my mother that in the camps she would dream that she would eat lots of potatoes. My grandmother managed to overcome her pain from hunger and transform pain into love for her children. That love is the most important inheritance that she transmitted, crossing generational boundaries, to allow me today to love my children and be myself. This maternal love that has transcended through the generation permits me to be who I am, to embrace our identity and integrate our history in spite the silence and the secrets. My grandmother had the good fortune to remake her life, and like many survivors, she kept her memories of the horrors of the wars to herself, to protect her children of the unspeakable traumas and memories that she carried on her shoulders. She tried to protect her loved ones for the torment of tears and the river of exuberant emotions that overflowed in her, where she remembered the dead, the terror of the living, and the deshumanization of those who bore witness to the atrocities committed upon the people. Perhaps she could not understand that the pain could not be fully understood, that the pain she felt could not be buried from all, that this wound would be carried beyond the borders of language, inheritance, and would be transmitted to her children despite her warder's silence. And that being a descendant of survivors of the Holocaust is to feel the suffocated pride that runs through your veins. To be a descendant of a survivor of the Holocaust is to live carrying a message that at the time she could not absorb and that has to be told. We are responsible for getting rid of that knot trapped on our body. Today, 3 generations have passed. As a granddaughter of survivors, I have a greater emotional distance from the trauma, and my head is clear enough to put my emotions into words. Fate has given me the possibility to live a quiet and free life, and of redefining the experience and history, Judaism, and the humanism I carry within, even with the holes that it carries, because it is from the gaps and empty spaces that the possibility of obtaining answers arise, from where creativity and purpose is born. That would motivate us to move and think together how to be better human beings, how to build the society we want for our children, how to heal the world. And although I don't have the answers yet, I trust that living part of being human, that part that fights against injustice, selfishness, loneliness, and war. I hope that love, hope, solidarity, and life weigh even more. That is why I ask you today that you cherish the gift of being alive. Take some time to connect with your authentic and living self, with that part of you that can contribute something to humanity, to society, to your family. Do it in honor of those who could not have this opportunity to live because their lives were taken from them. That's all.
Thank you, Elena, for that so touching speech about your grandma and all this responsibility we have, right, as descendants of survivors, to tell their stories. I think it's so important for this never repeats again. And I just wanted to, you told us about the family, so we can see that thing that she survived. She had this beautiful family that you're there too, right, with your children, then your other cousin. So yeah, it's that's the results of well, the blessing she had to survive. And I also wanted to show this painting that your mom did of her, right? I don't know if you want to say something about this painting.
I don't know, just my mother, it's very, my grandmother died when my mother was 18 years. So she felt a lot the loss of her. And I know it's always on her. And even I didn't knew her, she is also a part of me because of my mother. I don't know.
Yes, it's a beautiful painting of Elena, a way to honor her. So it's beautiful. Thank you, Elena, for telling the story of your grandmother. Before maybe some of you have some questions, I will want to take a picture of this meeting that it's, it's a unique meeting. So if you can turn on your cameras, it will be awesome. So we can all be in the image. Yes, please, all the family, all our friends, please turn on your cameras if you can. Don't be shy. It's just just 1 second. If you can, I am seeing here also my friends from Poland. Don't be shy. You're part of this story. Okay. Well, I am seeing you're trying okay. So
My children are there also. I'm watching them. They are with my husband in the
oh. Yes, nice.
There are
okay. So I think you have your cameras on. So I will take 3 photos because we are a lot and we don't fit in a screen, But okay, 1. Sorry, I can't see the button. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, wait me a second. Meanwhile, I am saving this photo. Again, please. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, just another one because we don't fit all in the screen. I'm so happy to have all of you here, guys. Okay, so 1, 2, and 3. Okay, thank you so much. I think my uncle Marco, that is also son of my grandma, he wants to say something, but he wasn't able to connect until, well, so I don't know, uncle, if you want to say something.
Okay, can you hear me, everybody?
Yes.
Well, it's an honor, a privilege to see you and see the family. That we have a lot of family around the world. So here we are with my wife, Rosa Maria.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Well, and one of the things that it's a short, very short story, but I would like to say, to add to all this information, the thing that I knew my grandfather. He was I can remember him pretty well, because we used to live during a time in his house in Las Lomas Chapultepec,
In Mexico.
I think in Mexico City with him. So he used to call me, to name me, Tocayo. Tocayo in Spanish is like with the same name, because he was here in Mexico, even though in Poland, or in that time Russia, his name was Moshko Isaac, but in Mexico he was Marco. So that's why they put me Marco, as well as one of my very lovely cousin, Roberto Marco, also. I think he's here with us now. So I love my family, really. And I have that remembrance of my grandfather, Marco, too, when I was 3 years old, he died in 1965. So in remembrance of all this, we are working in projects, like projects like maybe in clothing also, you know, putting the brand, you know. So we will tell you later about that, you know. It's in the information with Sammy and my sister Alejandra. But you know, it's just to remain that and to give to Israel, you know, a part, you know, of that earnings, you know. But well, to make the long story short, you know, we work for God, you know, and this is very important, you know, for us. So I would like to say goodbye to all of you, and someday, you know, we will be in touch. This is part of our lives here in Mexico. We were living in different. Well, we were living in San Diego, California, and in LA too. Some other parts too, but we have projects, you know, and anyhow, this is another matter that we were gonna maybe talk later. Well, anyhow, we'll say bye to you, and thank you very much. We really love you, family. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Uncle. Yes, well, this meeting is not ending yet, so if you can stay, it will be awesome. But yes, thank you for saying that. I don't know. So now I think it's time for questions. I think Isaac is going to help us with. Oh, I think Johnny wants to say something.
All right.
I will ask you to unmute, Johnny, because you're muted. Okay. You have to okay, to unmute you.
Mute, okay?
Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
First of all, I want to say Happy Hanukkah. It's the third day, and I want to thank you so much, Samantha, for the wonderful job which you're doing to preserve our memories. A small question. When you visit Poland, did you go to my hometown, Krakow? No, eh?
Yes, yes, we didn't mention that because, you know, it was so long, but we went to Krakow and we loved it, right?
I was there, this is January, by the way, eh? For the 75th anniversary of Auschwitz liberation. I was invited by the president of Poland. And keep working, eh, Samantha?
Thank you so much.
I love you, sweetheart.
Oh, me too, Johnny. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for always being here.
Yeah.
For all the people that didn't know this, Johnny, he's a Holocaust survivor from Krakow, as we're saying, that he has a.
By the way, I survived 4 years in concentration camps. Plaszow, Auschwitz, Mauthausen, many others, and I lost the whole family to the Holocaust. So Samantha, keep going, eh? Thank you so much for doing this job.
Thank you so much, Johnny.
Thank you very much, Johnny, to always.
Tell me, are you Jewish?
No, well, I have a half of my blood is Jewish.
And your father married a Jewish girl in Mexico?
No, a Catholic girl in Mexico. Then we really grow up in this environment in Catholic. Yeah. Now I don't profess any religion.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, happy Hanukkah and Merry Christmas to you all.
Thank you.
Happy Hanukkah too. So okay. Elena, do you want to say something?
Chag Sameach.
Chag Sameach.
Okay.
It's happy holiday. Samantha, I want to say that you have a beautiful family and you do a wonderful job. I'm so proud of you that you are so active to remember the Holocaust and do so much work for it. You have a lovely family and they could be very proud of you and you can be very proud of your family. And again, like you said, now it's Hanukkah, so we say happy Hanukkah to all of you. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure watching the whole family and the whole show. Thank you very much to all.
Thank you, Ruth. She's another Holocaust survivor, and it's an honor to have you here and to hear you. Okay, I don't know if Isaac is going to ask something.
And if
And
somebody,
first of all, we have the Ruth Merstein book. Can you show it, Ruth, again? And tell us about the book a little.
yeah, if somebody wants to know my story, I'm also a Holocaust survivor. I survived Auschwitz and Bergen-Belsen and the death march. And if somebody wants to read, I think Samantha read this book. It's a lot of information about the Second World War, about the Liberator and the British Army, and also what went on. Thank you very much, in case you're interested. It's a book that my daughter wrote.
Yes, thank
Right,
you, Ruth.
Sam.
Okay, well, Isaac, just wait because we are the survivors want to talk. You know, Eva
Right,
Nathanson.
perfect. Who
Yeah,
else wants to talk? Eva?
you have Eva. You're muted. You are muted. Okay.
I just want to thank you for doing this, because those of us who survived the Holocaust are dying out. I am one of the youngest, and I'm 80 years old next month. So, so it's very good that you're doing this to keep on going the history, and the people will never forget.
Thank you so much, Eva. We have also here the Eva Perman, but I think she has to leave, right? But I don't know if you're still there, Eva.
I'm still here, and I want to thank you.
Hi, Eva.
Hi, Eva. I want to thank you for doing an awesome job. And as I just wrote to you, I hope you will preserve this in writing for your children, Sam, and your grandchildren.
Well, she has everything, I think, documented. She's very good at it.
So a Merry Christmas and a Happy Hanukkah to all, and a Happy New Year. May it be healthier and happier and sweeter than this past one.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much to the two Evas. It's a pleasure to have you here. So yeah, all the survivors have talked, I think, or I don't know if Gerda is still here, but we had another survivor here too, Gerda with her son Eddie, but I think we have some questions. So Isaac, go ahead, please.
First of all, we have many congratulations for you and for all your family. They are asking you to write your book about your story. So you have a new work to do. They congratulate you a lot. For everybody, they say Merry Christmas also. Like we say Happy Hanukkah, but also it's almost Christmas. So have a happy Christmas also. And a Happy Hanukkah that we are celebrating now. And they have a family that sends a lot of, that meet with Gela Rogosinski and say that they were very good friends of her family and from your family, and it's incredible to find new family, and they are happy to know there is new family there. So I have there is another question. There is for your grandmother. Sorry, it's first of all, you didn't know your father was a Jew, or he didn't know, or he didn't say anything about the Holocaust, about his family. He didn't talk about it. It's like he came, he got married, and didn't talk about his family. Or how was when you talk and you ask him, what about my uncles, your grandfather, your father, or anything? What did he tell you?
Of course, we know that he was Jews, but he never talked about anything. And I knew a lot of people in Poland too that they didn't want to know. They didn't present as a Jewish people, because they don't want to perhaps to be again discriminated or I don't know, but he never talked about that, and that's why my mom always was so confused, and she always thought that he doesn't want to do anything about Jews. Then that was the way we really grow up. And in that time, we don't have television. It was beginning the television. Mm-hmm. Then we don't know about anything of that. We have another completely environment. We really was absent of that. That was really a shame. And that's why I was so sad to discover all this and go to his place and where he was born. Really was very sad that I just discovered that at this age.
I'm fine. How are you doing, honey?
And for Katia and Alejandra, what was your impression to know all about your father and your grandfather, more about all of this that you didn't know? And for many people, it's for us important to know about our history and our grandfather. How was for you, Katia and Alejandra, to know this Jewish past and to know this what happened in Poland and everything?
Well, it was really enriching, you know, because it helps you to understand who you are. It gives you an identity, and at first it's like you don't know where to start, right? Because you don't know anything. But when you start digging, it's like it's addictive. You know, you need to know more. It's like I need to know where he went, where he was, what he did, and you know, and it's like a puzzle. You know, it's like a puzzle. It starts building up your person, and you start to understand your environment, your family, and it's so important to have family. You know, it's something that supports society, so that helps you to be whole. You know, so it's really important to know all of this. You know, some of us don't even know, well, like us, a lot of people don't know who they, you know, who were their ancestors or where they come from. You know, and I think that has been lost, and it's being lost through the generations. So I think this is why we're doing this. So important to be a voice for those that suffered, but also for the new generations to find their identity, to know who they are, going back to their roots.
Exactly.
Katia?
There's no future without knowing the past.
Exactly.
Sorry?
Thank you, Eva. Katia, what was your impression? Like it's something
Well,
know, like I thought.
Like I said in the beginning, I've always had curiosity to find our family tree. I'm a biologist, so it is also super important to me to know our heritage and our genes. So just finding out all the, like my sister, I couldn't have put it better. Just knowing all the little dots that are putting all the puzzle together has been just so enriching, and just finding more about our family and our genealogy has really changed a lot on the way we think about life. I think it's giving us a different perspective, and the connection that we made with all our lost family, our cousins, and I mean that just kind of, I think Alex said it best. It completes you. So it's been a really an amazing journey, and I was so excited that you know our family was on board on taking the trips, and really just it was really an amazing adventure on the rediscovery of our family and our roots and our genes.
About the genes and about your roots for the four of you. One question is, what will happen with your family now, with the new family you have discovered, like Elena, like all of that? What is this mean to you? Because I know that you have family that you have never met. You only know them by telephone or now by Zoom in this moment. What is the next step in this new beginning, joining, breaking bridges or making bridges to get more closely? What is your idea? What can happen about it?
Well, I think we are going to keep researching about our family, because of course there's a lot of information that we don't know. We are trying to research more and make these connections, you know, because we have found in internet that there's a lot of Sztulmans, and somehow they have to be connected to us. So yeah, trying to discover more lost relatives, for example. I think we are going to do that.
And I think we had in plan that we get the cousins together. I mean, a few years ago, we finally got in touch with our cousin Karina. She came to Mexico, and it was really an amazing experience to be able to connect with her, because we never knew, we didn't know her. Maybe we met when we were like 3 years old or 2 years old, and we're in different parts of the world. Well, she's in the United States, I am too, but the rest of the family is in Mexico. With Elena here, we never met. This is the very first time, and really, it's wonderful. We met your cousin, or our cousin too, Elena, in Israel, and that was fantastic too. I've met my Aunt Janet. That was a treasure to find. She is fantastic. That's other Elena's mother. I love her. She is really wonderful and has helped us tremendously on this search as well. So I'm hoping that we can reconnect, just as we reconnected with the family in Israel, and we travel over there. I don't know, if there's another plan for a trip. With COVID is almost impossible, so we'll have to put it on hold. But I think the technology is amazing now. We can actually do Zoom family meetings, and that will actually work really well.
Yes, exactly. We want to go again to Poland, to Israel, but yeah, hopefully soon. I want to give like the opportunity. I want some I don't know, some young girl or boy to, if you want to ask something or comment something, because I want you to know that we have a lot of young people here, but they are shy. They don't want to put their camera, but we have a lot of people here. So I don't know, some of my friends, Ale, Angie, Bartek, I don't know, someone, please, just, I don't know if you have a question, Juan, please. Sylvia, you can write it down if you're shy, okay? Yes, but it will be nice to hear a young woman. Okay, Ale, I think Ale is going to say something.
Okay, I just have said that it's more like a comment, not a question, but I just want to say that this project is really fantastic. I think this project encourages people to tell their own stories, but I don't know. I think to tell stories about your family is really incredible, because you don't know anything about your family. Well, me or my sisters, and I think we just need to be more curious about it, to ask about our grandparents, what happened in their lives, because you can also find really incredible stories like yours, for example. I remember the first time when Sam told us about their family, and I think, oh my goodness, like that's really incredible, because this Holocaust is a really incredible period of time. And I think the most important thing about this project that you are making, Sam, is incredible, because you encourage people to tell their own stories, like not just about Holocaust, but about any other stories. And not just that, but also to make consciousness about the violence, about everything that we're living right now in this world. And I think that's amazing. I mean, I'm talking about our major, I think, science communication, that I like to make movies and all that stuff. And I think that Sam also likes to make documentaries or movies. And that's like a way of expressing ourselves, expressing like what we want to say to the world. So I think that with these stories, I think the best stories are made from personal experiences. And I just want to make that comment, that thank you, all of you. It's incredible to be here and to hear all these experiences that are really, I'm really amazed about all of this. So thank you. And well, that's it of my comment. And yes.
Thank you, Ale. Yes, thank you for the comment. For me, it's so important that people my age feels like this, like they are being encouraged to know about their roots and to tell these stories that deserve to be told, that we can never forget them. So yes, thank you, Ale. I think Isaac was going to
We have a message from somebody from Spain, from a liquor organization that looks around to fight against anti-Semitism. And he came in, he was very inspired with your story and the story of all your family. It's a very important to comment and to have this to the lights. He told me to tell you that about it. And it was very interesting to have you here, to have it here. Maggie was also here when you was talking about Maggie. She was here. So, all right. And we have many other people. I just want a final question, I think, Samantha, and it's for your mother, for your grandmother, or for your aunt. It's a very fast question. What does this work of Samantha leaves you? Alejandra, you're the mother, you're the grandmother. Katia, what does this mean to you, what Samantha is doing? Not just recovering your family history, to recovering all this Holocaust history, doing it not for Jewish, because Jewish people, we do it. But a non-Jewish doing it, it's a very important. And a young people doing it, it's double important. So, Katia, what's for you that your granddaughter is doing this? It's your opportunity to tell her everything you think.
Of course, Isaac, I told before that I was so proud for my granddaughter, because she's doing this because he's so touched. She was so touched of these terrible things, and I think that she will be in this business of communication, and then she can do a lot to avoid again something like that. To really the young people will know everything that happened, that so many think that it doesn't happen, because I don't know, some I think are because they have an anti-Semitism, and others because they don't have enough information or wrong information. Okay, then it's very important that she is doing now. And of course, I feel so proud, and I tell all my family, thanks for being here and to really push me to really go to search my roots. And I want to give a thanks to my husband that he always support us for everything. Then, of course, I am so grateful with everybody, and I am so happy that we have so many family and they are here listening to this story. Thank you very much, everybody.
Antes de que contesten Alejandro y Katia, creo que Montserrat quiere decirnos algo. Samantha, sería muy agradable.
Oh, yes, please, Montse, go ahead.
Okay, well, first of all, can you hear me? Can you listen to me?
Yes, I can't see you, but I can hear you. Oh, you muted yourself. You are muted.
Oh, sorry. I was putting on my headphones so that the audio doesn't come through. Can you see me now? I'm trying to put on my camera.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Ready,
Yeah. Hi. Well, I just wanted to thank Sam for this space. I have the pleasure to study the same career as her. We have met for around 3 years. And I think that the value of this space is that even though years have passed, the message of love and unity and resilience is still needed, because the movement of Black Lives Matter just happened. There's discrimination even here in our country. So to speak about these issues, it's an important thing to do. And I believe that what Sam is doing is really a social service for the world, not only for Jews or for young people, just for the world, so that we can understand that
this planet cannot move if we are against each other. Like there's no way that we can progress, that evolution happens, because if hate is the thing that it's moving us right now, there's no way that we can hope for a better future for our kids or for our families. And I believe that what you just give to us in this space about your family, I want to thank your mother and your grandmother and your uncle and everyone that's here from your family for sharing your story, because I think that you left us inspired. And I believe that that's one thing that we all need in these strange times. So thank you. And that's all I wanted to add to this conversation.
Thank you, Montse. Thank you for that. As I said, it's so important to hear this by my friends, because I know that this is doing a good effect, you know, in people. So thank you so much. We also have another comment of a young girl, a friend of mine, but she can't speak, but she said, I cannot speak, but I am amazed at your family's history. I find it amazing. I thank everyone who has told us their story. I am very excited to hear them. Personally, I feel that these kind of projects help preserve history and new data. Thank you, Angie. Thank you for that. Okay, we're going maybe to, we're almost in the end of this meeting, but I don't know if anyone else wants to say something.
I want, we have some other family from Israel, is a son of Rina. I just want him to say hello so they can see him, my family. He's right here. And we haven't met him personally, but hopefully we can meet him and all his family back there. It was a great time in Israel, but next time it's time for you to come to Mexico. Okay. Okay, yes. Mona, thank you.
I think also might be a good idea if any of our other family wants to say something or ask questions. I know that you're all here and we are very appreciative that you're here, but I don't know if you have any particular questions or you want to share anything.
Yeah, we also have the family tree. So if anybody of the family wants it, you can send us a message and we will. And you can add to it too, because there's a lot of things to add. Anybody wants to add anything?
Karina, go ahead.
Karina.
Oh, I think you're muted, or I don't know, but you want the family tree. Okay.
Yes, I want the family tree.
Okay, of course.
You guys are so beautiful. Thank you for this. This is so informative, and it's just incredible that you're doing this. And you look amazing. All of you look amazing. So thank you for this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ay, tía, mira qué preciosa te miras, ¿eh?
Okay, yes.
I have my other brother over here too, Alfonso. He can say hello. He lives in another state right there. So we hear 4 of us.
Yeah, so.
And we have our
Hi.
Okay. He wants to say something.
Well, I was living also with my, when I was small, with my grandfather, Marco, and he was so, you know, it feels like he has a very tough life. He works so much, and he died at 55 because he was working so hard. He brings the machinery from England to Mexico, and then the government brings the Caterpillar American companies, and they make it almost broke. And then he make a ranch in, I don't remember the place, but it was a big ranch that was going to support all the family. He was working so hard. And you know, at 5 o'clock in the morning or 4, he was driving and everything. And well, he died with a heart attack, I think, for all the work he did. But he was an amazing example for us. And, you know, I'm very proud that Samantha and all the family has all this information, so we know all our roots, you know, and you feel more proud and you feel more, you know, that you really know where you come from, and all the wonderful things that life give us today that we can enjoy, and other people didn't have that. So thanks to God for everything, and bye.
Thank you so much. To my uncle, I don't know if anybody else wants to say something. I think we, I don't know.
Any of the family, the cousins, speak up now, or never?
Hello, Lori.
I just want to say, that I'm very proud of you, Sammy, that you're doing this with passion and love, and it shows. And it's admirable.
Thank you. Thank you, Aunt. Okay, we have here also, I don't know, Elenka. We have here also, no, Agustin. I don't know if anyone of the family wants to say something else or you're okay with it, but. Okay, so yeah, for ending this meeting, Maya, do you want to talk? You are muted. You have to turn on the microphone.
Let me help her doing it.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well, yes. Meanwhile, she activates her microphone because we can't hear you, Maya. For finishing this meeting, I wanted to share with you a poem I wrote when we experienced all this discovery.
Ya, Samantha,
Okay.
ya puede hablar, ¿eh?
¿Ya?
Yes, sí.
¿Me oyen?
Yes, sí.
Yo puedo hablar en español, se me facilita más.
Sí.
Ok, lo traducen por favor. Yo quiero felicitarte, Samantha, por una labor maravillosa que estás haciendo. Yo soy maestra de secundaria, era de secundaria y prepa, y escribí libros de texto sobre el Holocausto y sobre todo la historia judía. Siento que has hecho una aportación sumamente importante para la juventud actual, ya que no se estudia, no se analiza suficientemente todo lo que pasó en la Segunda Guerra Mundial, que dejó marcada a la humanidad para siempre. Esperemos que programas como el tuyo, que son una maravilla y escucharlos, que programas como este lleguen verdaderamente a las nuevas generaciones y se pueda volver el mundo más tolerante, no, más educado, con menos racismo, con más amor y respeto entre unos y otros. No hubiera yo podido decir todo esto en inglés. Sé inglés, hablo inglés, pero sí se me hubiera dificultado decir todo esto. Te felicito, felicito a tu familia y de veras espero que llegue a todos los lugares necesarios el mensaje que creaste este sábado. Feliz Hanukkah, feliz Navidad y feliz Año Nuevo a toda la humanidad. Muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias, Maya. Well, she was saying that, yeah, she was congratulating me and this project because it's she was a teacher, a high school teacher about Holocaust and all this. So she's so proud of this project because she says that this is like an apportation to these young generations, and she was congratulating us, this project, and me. So she was also saying happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas. But yeah, she was telling that. Yes. Okay. So I think I will, yeah, for ending this meeting, I will read a poem that I wrote, inspired by all this discovery of my family. It's yeah, it's difficult, you know, but I will share this poem with you. That also I shared this poem when we were in a ceremony in Poland in the cemetery. So it was so important for us. Okay. Oh my God, I think you're saying another thing. Okay, sorry. My poem says, what memories cry out. I'm walking through the hallway of the past. The walls are talking. Oh my, sorry, I made a mistake. The walls are talking, whispering how it was. The whisper of a witness that forever lasts. Thousands of bodies are under the mask. a grieving song pacing through the air of the room, an imaginary reflect of the rejected and Jews, an aromatic symphony from the death's look, a glance through the fog of the forgotten moon. The ground is shaking with the rhythm of the song. A Star of David band, broken and stained with blood, lies next to a victim's memorial written on the floor, and beyond a tear's waterfall giving them honor. Blood left flowers for the fallen, crowns to the survivors, and a bird whispering to our hearts about the fighters. To some of us, honorable names written as our ancestors. To all the world, innocent souls murdered by the selfishness of a person. Thank you so much for being in this meeting. I think this poem is, well, so important for me, for us, for our family, so touching. My mom will say goodbye with a thing she wants to tell us.
Okay, well, I want to add something else. I want to tell you that how a decision of one person like my grandfather Moshko can really change your life. You know, moving to Mexico, that really changed the fate of our family history, and we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him. He took that right decision on the right time, and one decision can really change your life, your whole life. So this is too a message that if one decides in life to love instead of hate, to forgive instead of resentment, to have faith in instead of having despair, and to have God in your life can really transform and change your life. Okay, and it's a proverb that I really love to say to you that says that hate stirs up strife. It produces more hate, and love covers all sins. That means that it overlooks all wrong. So let's have that in our hearts. Let's love and not hate, and really forgive, because it can really change your life, and it can really give a good message to the world. So thank you very much for being here. We loved having you here. Our family, we love you, and thank you also for being here. It has been a wonderful time.
Happy Hanukkah.
Happy Hanukkah, yeah, of course.
Happy Hanukkah.
Happy Hanukkah.
Yes.
Happy Hanukkah. Happy Hanukkah.
Happy Hanukkah.
So,
very complete Hanukkah outfit. Marco, very complete.
We are finished, but if you want to still stay around,
say something.
You want to,
I don't know.
the family, Slavik, you want to say something to the family? He was our guide. He's our family now. We named him Roberto del Rio because it was so hard to say his name, you know, that we named him Roberto del Rio. So here is Roberto.
My pleasure. Yeah, I would just like to congratulate Sam and also to Alejandra and Katia for having such a great daughter and granddaughter. You're doing an awesome job, and I hope you can hear me.
Yes.
Yeah. And it was a really great honor and great experience to participate in part of your journey of discovery, which it's very very emotional and I think it is very important to know not only to know the lessons of the Holocaust, but also to know the story of your ancestors, to get some inspiration, like you know, like you said, someone made this decision which has had effects continuing through generations, and so I would like to just give you the best greetings and best wishes for the holidays, Jewish and Christians holidays, and other religions if there are, if they are listening and watching too. And I would let's hope for a better year in 2021.
Yes.
Thank you, Sławek.
Thank you, Sławek.
Dziękuję
Thank
bardzo.
Feliz año nuevo.
Thank you, Roberto.
You too. For you too.
So if anyone wants to say anything else, then I think we will say goodbye. Or
Best
what?
wishes and goodbye.
Thank you, Eva.
Goodbye. So if you can turn on your camera just to say goodbye, it will be awesome. And if you're of our family and you want to stay to say something with us, like personally, you can, okay? So bye. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
You can say bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye, Rina.
Bye, Rina. And all the
Bye,
family.
Glory,
Bye-bye.
Karina, Elenka, Moran,
Janet,
Adriana,
Bye.
Sylvia.
whoever wants to stick around for a little chat, the family chat, then stay around, huh?